Cold now in the earth?
No, it's in the 40s. That to me during the winter is called summer.
Yeah.
No, I mean I go outside with a short sleeve shirt. Anyway, okay, let's learn. We're now on we're on page. We learned the last Maamar. We're on page 277 at the Kitzer at the bottom. So, Kitzer. HaChosim, we spoke about Ne'ilah, the Chasima, the conclusion. HaChosim Mushiagia Shefa. What is the purpose of Ne'ilah, of the Chasima? It is for the purpose that Shiagia Shefa L'mokem Haroyu. That the hashpah of the Eibishter, of God, coming to man, to the Jew, should go to the proper place. And number two, l'chol echad befrot, not only in a general way, but also in a very specific way. Hashefa akloli amiskabel b'malchus datzilas b'ne'ilah hu chesed ruchni datzilas. The overall shefa that malchus datzilas receives in Ne'ilah time, as wonderful as it is, it's still yet a spiritual kindness in Atzilus. Atzilus is movdal mibriya tzirasiyah ke'esh hanivdal mishara yisaydis. We learned yesterday that Atzilus is separate from the three worlds that follow it, briya yitzirasiyah, similar to the separation between fire and the three other elements of water, eish, ruach, mayim, offer. Air, water, and dust. And yeah. Verak, b'hishtalshelus, the b'ri yetzirasir, it's only through the process of what's called hishtalshelus, hine al yedei hei gavuris, atik, through the 5 powers of severity, nasa chesed shebe'erech anavroim, then what's formatted, what comes about is a kind of chesed that creatures are able to handle. Okay, let's continue. If that sounds confusing, you need to review, please, that chapter. Let's continue now, 279, Perek Beis. Says the Rebbe Rashab, now we'll understand why there is judgment daily for Parnasa. As the rabbis say, the Adam Nidam B'chol Yoim, man is judged daily. The Niksiv, it says, Sheishes Yom Mitavot, 6 days a week shall you work. V'sisachom alatecha, do all your work. Why 6 days? Ki Sheishes Yomim Osa Hashem es Hashemayim v'sa'aretz. Because Hashem created the world on the 6 days. As Hayom, the ocean, waters, kol asher bom, everything that's in it, v'yonoch, but Yom Shvini rested on the 7th day on Shabbos. We find in the Zayar, in the Holy Zayar, B'chol yoyma ovid aviditei. It's a very famous quote. The Rebbe quoted this many, many times, which means daily, B'chol yoyma ovid aviditei, each day has its job. B'chol yoyma ovid aviditei. V'cheinu b'avidis adam d'sheishes yomim tavoid, so too in man's activity. Throughout the 6 days of work, do all work, the chol echel v'echam Yisrael, every single yid, yeshloi melachta, he has his job, his work, asher b'shvila nivra, that's the reason he was created, uv'shvila, and for the purpose of his mission, yordu nishmosi lamata, his soul descended below. See, and he brings a very famous verse in Tehillim, Psalm 139, verse 16, quote, Yomim yutzaru, days were created, Veloi echad bohem, and to him is echad, is one. That's the end. That's the citation from Tehillim, and the Rashab explains. The tachlis kol hayomim. What is the purpose of days? Asher noitzru, which were created. V'nitot nitnu la'adam, and given to man. U'bichdei, it is for the purpose. V'loi echad behem, meaning sheha'adam b'avodosai, that man through his avodah yamshich pinas echad should draw into his world and into the world and into his life the level of Echad, Aleph Ches Dalet. The Echad Hu Rosh Tevis, it's an acronym for Aleph, stands for Ein Sof Baruch Hu Alufi Shaloilam. The infinite God, the master of the universe. The Ein Sof begins with an Aleph, and Alufe begins with an Aleph. Ches, the Ches of Echad, it refers to Zayir Akibim, the seven heavens, Ve'oretz, and the earth. And finally, the Dalet of Echad, Heim Dalet Ruchas Ha'ilam, are the four corners of the world. Uvechlolis hu inyan hamakayim, all of these three things, generally speaking, refer to what we call makayim, place. V'yamim, and days, that's a reference hu inyan hazman, to time. So basically, in this verse in Tehillim, David HaMelech tells us what the purpose of time and place is. It is to draw Echad into the world. Man's activity is for the purpose, lechaber, to join zman, time, umokim, and place, uleyachtem belikus, and to unite them with godliness. V'zeu melachtacho, right? We said earlier, we quoted the pasuk in Shemois, Sheishes Yomim Tavoid, 6 days shall you work, v'asisa, and you shall do kol melachtecha, all your work. So now the Rebbe Rashab refers back to that word in the verse. V'zeu melachtecha shehi malachas ha'adam. This is man's work, b'tachlis yididus l'shmas l'mata, of why he was created on earth. In other words, Moshe, literally, melachtecha refers to the job. You're a sefer. You're an artist. I'm this. You're this. Each one of us has our avodah, our job. The Rashab says that in a more general sense, you should do all of your work, meaning all of your work as far as your purpose and mission on earth. Which is what? Which is to unite Hashem with the world. And guess what? It's done not only through being an artist or being whatever you are, but it's done every single day and every single moment that you're alive. So the Rashab extrapolates from the word melachtecha that it's not just in its literal sense, but in some broader context as well. However, malacha zu tzricha leyasis b'chol yom. This malacha has to be done every day, and it requires service biyagia with effort. She yagias basar v'yagias nefesh. It's two types of yagia. One is what we call flesh effort, and one is soul effort. One is gashmis effort, and one is spiritual effort. 6 days a week shall you work the b'chol yom v'yom, every day tzricha liyas ha'avodah b'avodas Hashem. Every day a person has to serve Hashem lefi mailas hayoim, based on that particular day. V'inyanei b'sfiras elyonos, and what that day represents in the spiritual world's emanations. You imagine? Avi, go figure out what is today's sfira, what is special about the day, and based on that, that's what you have to do today. In other words, you can't say, when I was a young boy, I kept a diary, and many days I came back and nothing exciting happened in my life in yeshiva, and I wrote down, I still have it, my kids always laughed at me, my brothers, sisters, I wrote down, regular day, next page, regular day, next page, regular day. The Rashab says, see, there's no regular days. Every day is unique. So Monday, Yud Gimel Tevis, last year, Tov Shin Pei, was a very different day than Yud Gimel Tevis today, this year. So to say that what I did last year is adequate and I'll repeat what I did the same, even if it was good, wrong. It's a different day and a different year. But Mela, it requires a different avodah. Top of 281. The Yom Rishon Chesed, and the Rebbe Rashab Avi has mercy on us. So he gives us a little help to figure out what we should be doing today, Hillel. Yom Rishon, on Sunday, Hu Chesed, it represents the sphere of Chesed. V'inyone ba'avoda ava. What is that? Navoida ava. So could you imagine, every Sunday you're going to focus on ava, on love, on kindness. V'yom Sheni, on Monday, today, Hu Gevura, it's the avodah of Gevura. Judgment, discipline. So today we're going to be more in a disciplinary mode. V'nyone b'avodah, what is Gevura in avodah? Hu yira, fear and awe. We're going to focus on that. Tomorrow, Mirz Hashem, Yom Shlishi, the third day of the week, Teferes, is beauty, charisma, mercy. V'nyone b'avodah hu l'stakola b'kora de malka. Tomorrow we get to gaze at the dearness and preciousness of the king, b'iskalus chesed gvura, by incorporating both chesed and gvura together, which is ava and yira together. So tomorrow, we don't just focus on chesed, Yoni. We don't just focus on gvura. Tomorrow we focus on the mix of chesed and gvura. Now, of course, we need to break this down and take it apart. And this is something that you could find. Simon Jacobson wrote a very nice explanation for the 49 spheros, days of sphera, and you could look over there. He has a nice psychological verbiage. And then, of course, Matis Cantor in the book that I told you about, the 10 keys to understanding. Or you could come up with your own potion. But the idea is that Sunday is chesed, Monday is gvura, and Tuesday is teferes. Let's continue. Wait a minute. Yom Revi, Wednesday. Wow, I'm so thankful that Ashab gives us, he's spoon feeding us here somewhat. Yom Revi is Netzach. Netzach is victory, endurance. The idea in Avodah is to arouse the attribute, the notion of endurance, levoyer or l'shorish, to eradicate. Games hadakus, the dakus aloi toiv, even the very subtle no good. You see, when it comes to no good, if it's obvious and blatant, gevura is adequate. But when it comes to Yoni, dakus, the dakus, it's very subtle. Quiet but deadly. Right? You're unaware. There, it takes a very, a much deeper and more powerful discipline to find and eradicate. And we call that Netzach. Netzach goes to the end. Netzach does not accept a challenge. Victory. For the sake of victory, I go all out. You know the Maamar of Basar Ligani that some of you referred to over our shiurim. It speaks about squandering the treasures. Remember that idea in Basar Ligani. Squandering the treasures, says the Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, in those discourses, is associated with Netzach. The king who has treasures from his ancestors that he's never opened, for the sake of winning a war, he'll open up the treasures that have been closed for hundreds of years. Because he must win the war. Well, here we're talking about a war of eradicating issues that are very deep-seated and very difficult. That takes Netzach. And that's why on the fourth day, it says in Bereshis, Nitlu HaMa'oros, the illuminaries were hung. Shehu Oyer HaMeir, the Shemesh is the light of the sun, Havaya of God, Hadoche Umechaled, that pushes aside and destroys, Gamadaka Shebadaka Zalotov, even the most refined kind of no good. So that comes on Wednesday. Here comes Thursday, the Yom HaChamishi on Thursday. Hoid is splendor, acknowledgement, hoidah, thankfulness, thanksgiving. Every Thursday is a Thanksgiving turkey day. V'inyone ba'avodah lizboinen. What does that mean in avodah? To meditate, to contemplate, ulahasik, and to comprehend. Hoid kvoid malchusa yizbarich, the splendor of the glorious God, blessed be He. Kamoshahu moving the musik mehabria, as God is understood and comprehended from creation. Kula kishem is boinin b'inyone. When one meditates on the ideas of Morab u'Masecha, how great are your actions, Hashem u'Magod u'Masecha, how multiplied are your actions and how great are your actions. So when you meditate on that, you come to an acknowledgement. You're so awesome. Wow, I'm so thankful to you. And then comes Friday, Yom Shishi. Yay, Mashishi, on Friday, Yisoid, which is the idea of the sphere called the foundation. What is its idea in Avodah? The Achid, it unites Bishmaya Uva'ara, the heavens and the earth. Hayichud, which we call in Chassidus, the Memale Kol Almim, the pervading energy, V'Seiviv Kol Almim, and the superficial energy. Both are united through Yisoid, through the communication skill. The Yadu, and it's known, the Chol HaMidas, all the Midas from Chesed, through Yisoid, Miskal Lezem is actually through Malchus, anyway. Miskal Lezem, Mizem are incorporated one with the other, Vezui Shleimusam. And this is what we call, Hillel, the Shleimut. The completion of spheres is when there is Iskalalus between them. So also in Avodas Hashem, when is there a wholesomeness? When there is inclusion. The Ava Klula Meyira, Ava incorporates fear, Uvayira Klula Ava, and fear incorporates love, so all of them. Nevertheless, although there is an aspect of inclusiveness, each day has its specific avodah based on the spheres of heaven, as we discussed. In other words, it's true that there is chesed within gevura and gevura within chesed, but that's not a replacement, Moshe, for the overall theme of the day and energy of the day. You follow? So what are we focusing on today? Gevura. It's Monday. Now, does Gevura have other elements, other aspects that it also touches and incorporates? Yes. But overall, it's Gevura Day. Last paragraph. And this is the meaning man is judged daily. Based on what we said earlier, moving the chesed, it's understood that from the level of chesed, that's been designated as Hashanah Yom Kippurim, v'nimshich b'pchinas Malchus Datzilus, and has been drawn to Malchus Datzilus, yochol liyas bizeh kameh miner fani chesed basiya. There can be various ways of chesed in action, in world of action. Why? The way chesed is in Atzilus, there is no form yet. That will be later. Top of next page, 283. Chesed Pashut. In Atzilus, Chesed is what we call Pashut, unformed, simple. Adayin, sheyochel etstari adei shlapshus canal, and it will be able to be formed into a particular style of Chesed when it goes into the three lower worlds of Yitzbriya Tzirasiyah. Shaydei zen nasem b'bchinas Chesed Gashmi b'elam hazeh Gashmi, finally coalescing and becoming part of the physical world, becoming foundation in many different ways. So we have three things, Yoni. We have Chesed of Atzilus, which is Pashut. Then we have the Pashut of Chesed as it expressed itself in Bria Tzirasiyah. And finally, it then comes into the world in a particular format, which is called Olam Asiyah Gashmi. And this is why, Hillel, there's judgment daily. In other words, the fact that it wasn't Atzilus, and the fact that my chesed wasn't being it doesn't help me today. Now you have to go to a meeting. Now you need chesed. You need a car or a van or a bus or wherever you got to get to, and you hopefully no one breaks down, and you need chesed to be bestowed upon you. I will say in the morning we had chesed. Yesterday was chesed. Today is gevura, and it should work. It doesn't work that way. Man is judged daily. Man has to make every day a cheshbon of how to access and manifest the chesed in a real way. Continue. And we need it, Moshe, the Rebbe says, the Rashab says, we need it in good things. Lebonai for children, Chayai for health, Umazoinai and for sustenance. And not just meager children, health and sustenance, but berevach. We need it in a profitable way. Hashem, open the floodgates. Why are you just giving me a little bit? Let it pour in. Let it rain in. Berevach. Oirak shnayim behem. Okay, you don't want to give me the blessing totally in a big way in all three aspects. So give me at least in two of the ways. Lots of children, great health, lots of parnasa, whatever it is. And guess what? I'll even take one. The other two, you give me bare minimum, and then one of them, flood it all the way. And this judgment that's daily, you hear that? Where's the judgment happening, Avi? In heaven, in the heavenly court. Here's a new idea, mark it down, Moshe. In the chamber called the chamber of schus, of merit. There is a special place that we have access to called the chamber of schus. And if we can unlock that door, the schus, the merit from that area, floods us. And the Rebbe says, Kabbalistically, if you want to know where that chamber is, it's in the chamber of Bria. What if, the Rebbe says, now look at this. What if the judge judges in heaven, I'm not ready to give this fellow this schus in Gashmias. I'm sorry, I can't give, we call chut ha-mashulish, a three-knotted knot, in bona chaya mezayna. I'm not giving it to him. I can't give it to him in all three ways. In two I could give him. This is great. So then there's a case, a court case. Okay, 2 out of 3, great. Which two? That he should have living children, sustainable, they should live, ubrios and healthy, bechlolos, nefashos based amongst all the children of his home. Should I give it to him for parnasa of a lot of parnasa? He should have wealth and health. Now this is a question. And when we read stories of the Baal Shem Tov and the holy tzaddikim, we talk about there was only a bracha for this, not for that, right? Right here. You see it in the text. You see how when you learn Chassidus, those stories come alive. They're not just fables and nice bubble mices. They're real. There is a reality that we're judged every day. Should it be? So in other words, every day there's a diyun. That's the point. Every day there's a judgment. Okay, Hashem says, I'm going to bless this guy today. Is it going to be in parnasa? Is it going to be in health? Is it going to be in family? Let's continue. Here comes a bomb of a paragraph that is so important. Now you know why you have to go to a tzaddik. Guess who is helpful to make a difference and a change, and that it should be in the right way for you? The prayers of a tzaddik who prays to Hashem on your behalf. Lahachlif me'inyan le'inyan. The tzaddik can actually change that the schus go from children to health, from health to parnasa. Whatever you need, and you come to the tzaddik, and you say to the tzaddik, I need this right now, and the tzaddik sees or feels subconsciously, consciously, whatever, that the bracha is not there yet, he has the koyach to make a change. What an idea. Let's look how he says here. Uvizeh Yuvin, what did I tell you? I didn't even see he's going to say this. Moshe, look at the next line. Uvizeh Yuvin amaisa shira yitzal Baal Shem Tov Nishbas Eiden. Here we understand the story of the Baal Shem Tov. Be'echad shisamet b'kosher yishabal avuri livoshe bebanim. Some person came to him and he argued. And he said, Rebbe, Baal Shem Tov, I need you to bless me to have children. He was very wealthy. The Baal Shem Tov did not answer him. Until once he became so adamant. And with his wife, they came to him and they nudged him and they bugged him and they drove him crazy. So the Baal Shem Tov saw with his Ruach HaKodesh in Gan Eden, Ki chafetzim heima be'emes mikiras. I'm sorry, not now. The Baal Shem Tov saw here on earth, he saw that these couple want so much a child, mikiras halev, from the depths of the heart. V'yoyma lehem, and he told them, Kishi yoylidu bonim, when you'll have children, yi'abdu ashiros, you're going to lose your wealth. V'yu aniyim, and you're going to be poor. And they chose. He said, I'm telling you, I can get you to, I'm paraphrasing, I can get you to bracha, but you're going to use the wealth. And they said, we're willing to lose our wealth. We want to have a child. The Yelidu Banim, and they had children, V'yasu Aniyim, and they became poor. Look at the next paragraph. The Baal Shem Tov changed Sheidish HaChesed L'mayla, the source of Chesed in heaven. The source in heaven was for children, for wealth, and they came and they really meant that they're willing to give it up. The Baal Shem Tov was able to make a change in the heavenly court. And what's the logic? There's a logic here. It's not just abracadabra. You understand? This isn't abracadabra bubba mices that they teach you. There's a seichel. What's the seichel? The Baal Shem Tov took the chesed that was designated for this person in heaven. He took the chesed and he channeled it from these two things to something else. And a tzaddik has that ability. That's part of the koyach of a tzaddik, because it's tzaddik. Next page, 285. In addition, the daily judgment is something else. If man is suitable, okay, there's another concept. It could even be, Avi, that there's a bracha for that particular thing that you want. But guess what? It's in your storage house. It's in your treasure. It's not in the bank. It's not in this world. Look what the Rebbe says further. Well, guess what? If you would have been today prepared spiritually, it would have been materialized. But today you woke up on the wrong side and you're angry and you're moody and you're grouchy. And Hashem says, get away, I don't want to deal with you. Although, hey, wait a minute, Hashem. You put this into my storage house already on the tent between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. It's mine. Hashem says, it's yours, but you're not getting it now. You're going to get it spiritually now, or maybe in the world to come. But in the bank, you're not going to have it. You're not going to have it in your house. Chas v'sholem. So in other words, it is yours. It belongs to you, because on Rosh Hashanah through Yom Kippur, it was designated to you because you did good tshuva, you did everything right. But today you have to materialize it. And if you don't today, because you're not in that type of a mode, in a positive mode, etc., it's not coming to you today. Pizeh, the Rashab says, based on this, we can reconcile Yisvaku, based on my Maamar now. The two statements of the Chazal, One, the Mazaynais of Shalom Tzum L'Rashon Yom Kippur, that man's parnasa comes for the 10 days, and together with that Chazal, there's the other one, man is judged daily. For what does it mean? He's repeating now. He's summarizing and repeating. The idea that it's designated, it's been designated from you, and it's in your storage bank. To get, nevertheless, man is judged daily. The manner in which this chesed should take form. In what type of chesed? And it's such an important idea. Every day we daven refuah uparnasa 3 times a day at the Yashum Nesri. Why are we davening? It seems like a waste of the brachas, right? We already got we got the answer through Yom Kippur. Mikol Mokim says that Rashab Zeorak B'Klolos HaChesed. That's the overall chesed in a general form. We don't have yet it be materialized in Gashmis. So every day we ask of Hashem, this chesed that you designated to me, which comes from Malchus Atzilus, Yislabish Binyonim Gashmis Elu, should be invested in the physical world. Remember, he quotes Rav Yevi, who prayed Savar al Sudosei. Imagine, he has the food in front of him, and he doesn't begin eating. He makes a prayer and asks Hashem, let me eat. What do you mean, let me eat? You got the food in front of you. He knows before him. Oh, what a touch. It could be the food that you have in front of you is not yours. You hear that? What do you mean, I bought it? My wife made it for me. Or I made my own eggs. Sorry. It's not yours. It doesn't belong to your spiritual connection. How do you know that what you have is yours? You don't. Va'alzem hispalil. And that's why Rav Yevi made a special tefillah before he ate. That his source of chesed should invest itself in this food. What, this is a tremendous touch. In other words, one second. I know it's a person is never sure. We think we own it. It's ours. It's not. It might be. So you have to get in touch with your source, Sheidish Chesed, and from there draw it into this particular food, vis-a-vis the bracha and the tefillah, and that's why Rabbi Yevi did that before he ate. Yes, Moshe.
Yeah, I this is fascinating, and it's really, really fascinating. I just have one question. I mean, when I hear this, when I learn this, I'm asking myself, wow, that makes, I can hear that. But then I say, well, wait a second. Is that the normal, that's not the normal way we go about our ishtadlus.
No, it's not the normal way.
Right?
It's not the normal way that a Lubavitcher Chassid goes about his ishtadlus. But the Rebbe Rashab is bringing source material from Zohar and Gemaras and telling us to revisit. That's exactly what he's doing. That's why we're learning. But you're right, it's not that way. Doesn't mean it shouldn't be that way.
Me, the normal ishtadlus is, you go into the grocery store, you have a list, you worked, you have whatever money you have, you go into the grocery store, you have a list, your wife tells you to buy cottage cheese, cucumbers, bread, you go. I mean, how do I know that the cottage cheese I'm picking up is the one meant for me? No,
wait, stop. That it's meant for you is because you're doing what your wife wants. That I guarantee you. That itself is already a big bittul to listen to your wife. Okay. The question is, when she prepares you food and you sit down to eat it, is it really yours? So you say, of course it's mine, because I bought it with my money for my wife. I complied. I did everything. That's all true. But then every step of the way, there's an additional judgment. And if in other words, you can eat it. It's not that the Rabbi Yabi couldn't eat it and he could make a bracha. The question is this his mission today? Is this what's wanted of him today? Of course you can eat it. You're not stealing. You're eating it. You're making a bracha. But how do you know that this is today's avodah? That's what he's saying. And that's when he made a tefillah asking Hashem, I ask of you, please make this be my avodah because I'm about to eat it. So in other words, he was asking Hashem to help him complete his mission for Monday. And Monday at lunch. And then he comes only to Monday to dinner. He asks Hashem again. Because I'm eating. Of course, you're hungry, you eat. We know that. But that doesn't mean that that's associated with your neshama and your shlichus. And that's the reason for the prayer. And that's what the Rashab is saying. That's why we Adam Nidim B'chol Yoim. And every day we're judged. And many times a day we're judged. Although in the basket and the treasure of parnasa and health and all that, we got a certain amount. Sei gesund, Chevra. I have another shir I have to give. So have a great day. It's fascinating. You're right. And
it's a lot to process.
Yoni, begin processing it by reviewing what it says. Once you review what it says, then think about it and then ask. It's not, I don't think it's an outrageous idea. Well, it's outrageous because we're so not used to it, but it's a very healthy, it's not
outrageous at all. It's not outrageous at all. The only thing, again, it's just that the Baal Shem Tov tells us that a Jew is in his place where he's supposed to be every single day for a reason. I almost feel it's a little bit contradictory.
I hear you. Let me tomorrow, believe that one of these days, I'll try to explain it a little more, okay? Because I do have to get to the other shir. Zay gesund, everyone. Have a great day. Take care. Stay safe. Bye-bye.